Hi, we're Will and Leanne, and we're also known as the Travelling Bus.
This is our van. It's a 2004 VW LT35 medium wheelbase.
We've had the van for just over a year now, and we began our travels around Europe this spring. We've been living in the van for just over a month.
And we're currently in France, and due to the border lockdowns, we're self-isolating in our van. Let's show you around. So we're going to start with the outside of the van, and on the front, our main modification that we made with the two floodlights on the front. They're wired quite simply just to a switch on the dashboard, and they're really handy because the lights aren't the best on this sort of aged vehicle, and it just gives us that extra bit of light when we're driving down sort of dirt roads, dust tracks, and gives us that bit of extra visibility. So working our way around to the side of the van, the first thing you'll notice is the windows that we've covered up here with a plastic vinyl. When we first bought the van, it was a minibus, so it had windows all the way around the outside, and we've simply just insulated up to the glass as we didn't want to remove the windows, and we've just vinyled over the top. The next feature you'll notice is our roof box up top, which gives us that added bit of storage just for sort of big bulky things we don't access all the time and don't need in the van with us all the time. So working our way around to this side of the van is where most of the modifications were made, and we've only got a couple of holes that we've cut into the van. So the first one here being the auto gas refill, just for refilling our gas bottle, which makes life a lot easier. We can do it at LPG petrol pumps. And the second modification we made was the actual vent on the side here, which is just for our fridge, so the exhaust fumes will go straight outside instead of hanging around in the van, which nobody really wants. So up on the roof we've actually got two 100 watt solar panels, which is our main source of power. We have a split charger in the front, so when we're driving it charges from the alternator, topping our batteries over, but the main source is the solar panels, which keeps it topped up pretty much all the time. We've not had any issues with lack of power yet, and we're able to charge cameras and use blenders and all sorts of different things. We'll get into the details of the electrics later. So up on the roof we have a roof vent, which we just open for when we're doing cooking, and it lets that little bit of through breeze in, which is nice for cooling the van down on warmer days. It's a bit like a greenhouse. These windows don't open, it just gets very hot in there in the summer.
Right, so moving on to the inside, the first thing you'll see is the storage unit, which has actually been really handy because we could just keep things that we need to access easily on the top, and then we have some pans which fit in there quite well, and then the bottom is really good for shoes. It's a perfect size for the doorway, and we were lucky it fit in so well really. But this is also our toilet. This is our bathroom. It's actually a portaloo, and what we do is we've just sponged it down so that it stays there when we're driving around. But we also had a bit of fabric left over from where we made the seat cushions, so it's been, so it ties in quite nicely and it kind of looks like a little stool. So this is our kitchen area, and although it's small we actually do have quite a bit of storage. We have this overhead one which we call the attic, which is where we keep all our general stuff. So we've got like the washing up bowl and the spare burner hob just in case, and we've also got like the washing line and pegs and that sort of thing. It looks small but it actually goes quite far back because it goes right over the cab. And we've got these overhead ones. This was originally in the bus. People used to use it for putting their bags in, but what we did, we've just sanded it down, painted it white, and it actually fits in really nicely when we added the cupboards on. In the overhead storage we have some cleaning supplies, and it's where we keep all our like tea towels and spare sponges, that sort of thing. And then moving on to this one, we have some toiletries. I think it's where we keep our towels, and it's just, they're a good thing to have because they're just so easy to get to. And under here, this is where we keep all our dry food. We do have some vegetables in a bag. On the top we keep all the light stuff like bread, and then we have cans and jars at the back, and then pasta at the front, and couscous. This is where we keep our cutlery. We've just put these drawers on a slider. You can see that we have made this van on a budget, so we have made everything ourselves, but it works perfectly fine. This bottom one, this is where we keep cups, mugs, plates, bowls, and then we also have a three-way dometic fridge, and we've put it on a slider as well, so it's really easy to pull out. And then we can just lift that open, and we can run that off gas or from the solar. Well, this is our water system that we use. It's very simple. We just have two 25-litre bottles. One is for clean water and the other is for grey water, and we just have a pump that goes into the clean water, and it is activated by using this switch on the side. So this is our 2-ring burner hob, and it just runs off the gas bottle that we keep in the back of the van, and we chose to have 2 just because we thought that we'd be able to make more meals this way. We really love cooking in the van, and we found that is all we need. For the lights, we have 12-volt LED spotlights. There's 2 that go over the unit for cooking, and this turns on just on the side of the unit here. And we also have 2 on the roof, which we use as our main lights, and the switch for that is just by the door.
So as I mentioned earlier, we covered the windows up, and what we've done with that space is we've added a little shelf in here for our rainy day activities like packs of cards, playing cards, board games and books. We've got a couple of little shelves in here with nice little supports to stop things flying around when we're driving. And over the door here we actually have some coat hooks, which I found are good for just drying wet clothes and obviously hanging our coats on. So for the roof of the van, we originally just had it as a white roof. It was very plain and it sort of looked a bit like a gallery in here, so we decided to get some tongue and groove and make the roof look a little bit more interesting. It gives it that sort of homely feel as well, which is really good. And for our flooring, we actually went for a vinyl from the trusty Trago Mills. If you guys don't know what that is, it's basically just like a discount shop which sells all sorts of different things. It's got wood effect. It makes you feel a bit more at home and warm in here, even on those cold nights when it gets a little bit chilly. So this is our table. It's made from a piece of IKEA worktop, and it's a nice size for eating dinner off. It also drops down into our bed and gives us the support for making a full-size double. Our bed's made from an IKEA mattress, which we've just cut down to make back supports, and they slot directly in line to make everything square. So how our table drops into bed mode is with this frame here. It's a very simple frame, we've just got one on either side, and the table slides directly in there and it turns into our bed. We've got an extra piece for up the end for just extending the table ever so slightly, so it's a full-size double bed. So how our table works, we can just lift it off and drop it down onto those rails we mentioned earlier, and it just lifts straight up. Got to pull the leg off, which is quite a simple task. The table is a little bit heavy, but it's alright, you get used to the weight, and it's quite accessible. So under the bed we've actually got quite a lot of storage. It's just a simple lift up system, and it's where we store all our pillows and duvets, and also house our batteries and electrical system. So for accessing the electrical system, we simply just have to pull these cushions down just to keep them out of the way, and it lifts up, and we can access all of our electrics and do any maintenance we need to, or check any faults if anything comes up. So this is our 12-volt electrical system. It's a very simple setup. We've got an MPPT charge controller which regulates the power coming from our solar panels and charges our 2 110 amp hour batteries. They've proven to be plenty of power for us. We haven't actually gone down under half battery yet. Even on cloudy days it seems to pull enough. We've got a 1000 watt Silverline inverter for powering our blender and our 240 appliances, like our fridge if we were ever running out of gas and we needed to use that. But other than that, we've got a very simple system. So the majority of our items are 12-volt chargeable, like our phones and camera batteries, and we just have 2 USB plugs here which we use for charging almost everything we have. Other than that, the van's got a very simple system with electrics, and we can mend any problems that come up because we've done all the work ourselves. And just above us here we've got our 2 main storage areas for big items like coats and jackets, and it just keeps it all out of the way and is also at reach if we need to get anything out. It's nice and accessible. So for our main area of storage, we've got this big unit here from B&Q which we installed perfectly to fit, and we just tie it back with a simple elastic tie, and it's just for storing all of our main items like clothes. We keep everything organised with packing cubes just so everything's easy to find, and we can just pull big things out and just find our t-shirts or our certain items that we need to get out each day. So for the last storage area in the van, we've got this one up the top, which is just made simply from some eyelets and some bungee cord, and it's for holding big items like woolly jackets and coats, things we don't access so much. But it's also nice to just keep it tucked out of the way and organised.
So we can access this big side cupboard from the back, and what we keep in here is the ladder to get up onto the roof, and we also have the outside chairs and the table, the umbrella and the picnic blanket, just because it's just easy to get to from out here. And from this one, we can access this one from inside as well, but this is just where I keep all my paint supplies and my loom and wool and that sort of thing. Well, this cupboard goes underneath our seating area. So in here we have a rocket stove. We haven't had much use out of that yet, but hopefully we will when the nights are a little bit warmer. And this is also where we keep our gas bottle. We had a hole in the back from where it was a bus because it had a heater, so we thought it was the best place to put it. And we've just refilled it. It's 3.7 kilograms, and we just refill it in the side of the van. Thanks so much for watching our van tour. We hope you enjoyed it.
If you guys have any more questions, feel free to send us a message on our Instagram.
Bye
Bye guys!